Yesterday, The Sims 4 released a major skin tone update. They gave us 100+ new skin tones with light and dark sliders, opacity sliders for makeup, improved hairstyles, and a few more things. As I was going through the update and experimenting with the new skin tones, I found a major flaw in the genetics. I'm really hoping this is something that they will fix and not just leave it busted like the eye colors. Let's jump in and take a look at all the new features, and I'll show you what I found. Well, first of all, the first thing you notice after you update your game is that the main menu has been updated again. There's a lot more advertising space on this home screen, so they can advertise packs to you that you don't have or may not have. They're trying to get me to explore Journey to Batu. There's also a link to the latest patch notes, which I really like because then I don't have to go dig for them. I can just click right here to see what's new. According to the patch notes, the gallery has been highlighted in a more meaningful way. So there's just this gallery button here that you can click on and go straight to the gallery. And then there's another tab here called packs. And if you go to that, they now have all of the packs with the cover art listed like this, instead of the little icons that used to be on the home screen. I am really surprised that they did this because I feel like they probably were selling more expansion packs by having this on the home screen, because of people's desire to have completion and have every one of the icons filled in that they own them. I'm really surprised that they moved the packs over to another tab. I don't really care. I will probably never ever go and click on this packs tab. And to be honest with you, I really don't care that much about the main menu or what it looks like. I just see it for like 1 second while I press play or load game or new game. But this is the new design that they went with. Now let's talk about the new skin tones. This is very exciting. We've been waiting for a long time for improved skin tones so that all players can feel represented in the game. So when we open up the skin tones, we have 4 new sections: warm, neutral, cool, and miscellaneous, and these are for like the occult skins. So we have a bunch more skin tones than we had before to choose from. And another really cool thing is that we have a slider so that you can make the color lighter or darker for that particular shade. This is really cool, and it allows for a huge variety of skin tones in your game. Now, as for the skin tones themselves, some of them are really good and really much improved. Especially these warm, lighter skin tones look really nice. And I'm just gonna keep going through, and eventually we're gonna hit a weird one. So I looked through all the skin tones, and some of them are strange, and they're usually like these middle shades. Like this one is quite orange. You might be able to use the slider to kind of get it more natural looking, but there are some strange ones. This one kind of looks off to me. I think it's more apparent in the neutrals, but the warm skin tones, overall, they look pretty good, especially when it comes to the darker skin tones. I feel like they did a much better job on some of the darker skin tones. Again, a few of them are weird, but like this one looks really nice. This one looks pretty good. And then if we go down to the neutrals, okay, so the neutrals, some of the lighter neutral colors look really weird. Like this looks like a corpse to me. And they just look really strange, the neutral light colors. And especially some of the colors in the middle as well. Like these actually look pretty nice that I'm clicking on here. And I'm sure if you have the update, you've gone through and looked at these, but just in my opinion, we definitely have some improved darker skin tones. We have some improved lighter skin tones. We still have some weird ones like this one right here that looks very purpley, very splotchy. The nose like looks like a different color almost. Not the greatest. We can kind of use the slider to make it look a little better. Maybe if we make it a little darker. This one looks grayish green. I don't know, like I kind of was expecting a little bit better, to be honest with you, but I am overall happy that we do have some improved darker skin tones. Some are weird, but some are good. The cool colors, the lights look all right. This looks purple to me. I mean, that doesn't look like a very natural human skin tone to me. It looks like a a vampire or a corpse or something. I don't know, maybe you could use this for vampires or spellcasters or something. This one looks pretty good. I like this one. So I can see myself taking a long time to try and skip through these weird purpley skin tones to try to find ones that I actually like. And I really wish there was an option to hide the ones that I knew I was never going to use, like corpse purple. But you know, oh, I can't complain because we do have a huge variety here to work with, and many of them do look really good. So you can just ignore the ones you don't like and use the ones that you do. I'm just happy to have some kind of variety, and I also like the tone slider. I was very happy to discover that my custom content was still working. My custom skins and my custom eyes are still working. They did not break with the update, even my skin details. I used the Kijiko eyelashes and they are even working fine with the update. I really expected everything to be broken and it wasn't, so that was a nice surprise. As for the hairstyles, they improved 3 different hairstyles, which really it's 2 different hairstyles if you ask me. One of them is for children, female children. So we'll make our sim here a child so we can look at it. And this was the base game ponytail braid hairstyle. And so this one here has baby hair and it looks really cute. I really do like this hairstyle. They did a good job on it. I like the little baby hairs. And then they made one without baby hairs and called that the second style. Really, I think this can be considered one. But they did a good job on it. It does look really cute. And then the next one they did is for adult males. And it is the base game flat top. And here's how it looks now. It actually looks really good. At least I think it does. I think they really did a good job on the texture. I really like the way it looks. So good job on the hairstyles, I think. Now, another thing I was really excited about is we finally have opacity sliders for makeup. Much of the makeup in The Sims 4 is just so dark and heavy that having opacity is really going to help out a lot. So let's take a look at that. If we go to eyeshadow, I'm just going to choose a base game eyeshadow and just see how intense this is. Well, now if you click on the little color swatches, not only can you choose a color, but you can also choose a hue. So you can, so now we have like a bunch more colors for makeup that you can choose between. It's almost like a color wheel, but not quite. Then we can choose opacity, so we can make this much more translucent. And then we have saturation, so you can make the color more saturated or less saturated. And you have brightness, so you can increase the brightness. I'm not really seeing much change here on the eyeshadow, but you can definitely tell on the eyeliner. So the eyeliner, I'm gonna have to take her eyelashes off because I just can't see when Sims have those awful Maxis eyelashes. Okay, so the eyeliner was so dark and heavy before, but now with the opacity slider, we can make it much less intense. And I just think that looks so much nicer. And you can also change the hue of the eyeliner as well. I'm not really seeing much of a change on that, but apparently you can change it. And the brightness. So if you bring the brightness down, you can really see a difference on the eyeliner. And then let's check out the blush. So I'll just use the base game blush as an example. And it just looks way too bright for this sim. But we can turn down the opacity and make it actually look nicer. And so now you can have makeup that looks good on most skin tones, which is really exciting. And then if we go to the lipstick, again, we can now make lipstick look good on most Sims. So let's just choose like a really dark one. And you can change the hue of it, make it a little more purpley if you want, change the opacity, the saturation, and the brightness. And you can really get all different kinds of looks. They did an excellent job on the makeup sliders. I was just expecting an opacity slider, but we got so much more than that. So I'm really happy about that. And now I can see myself spending even more time in Create a Sim, just perfecting my Sims makeup because it's so much fun and you can create basically unlimited different styles and colors for your Sims. Another awesome thing about the makeup update is you can now save swatches. So say that you have this set exactly how you want it, you can click save and it saves a preset for you. This is now your custom preset, and you can just click that and automatically apply it to your sim, so you can use it again and again. If you find a preset that you just really like, you could even save like different ones for different skin tones, so that is really cool too. Okay, so now that you've seen all the good things, let's move on to genetics. And I did some genetic experimenting, and I'm going to show you that here today. And I have found a big problem that I think would be an easy fix for the Sims team. Let's just hope that we can bring this to their attention. My biggest fear with this update is that they would break the genetics more than they were already broken before, and it does appear to be the case, unfortunately. It feels once again like they spent all their time trying to make the skin tones pretty and not enough time on the deeper mechanisms of the game, like genetics. I feel like this is a pattern with The Sims 4. They try to make everything as pretty and shiny as they can and completely just overlook to me, what are the more important parts of the game. So as you know, there are warm, neutral, and cool skin tones. So you would expect if you had parents who had the same skin tone that their child would also have that skin tone. For example, let's say we have one parent who has let's give her a warm skin tone. Now let's create a partner for her, and let's also give him a warm skin tone, but let's give him a much lighter skin tone. And then let's create a child. Okay, so here's the first child that randomized. He also has a warm skin tone, the same skin tone as his father, in fact. The skin tone genetics appear to work on a range, so the child is going to have a skin tone anywhere in between his mother and his father's skin tone. So it could be any of these skin tones on the top row. Let's try again. Okay, we got exactly the same. Exactly the same. And here's a bit of a darker skin tone. And once again, this is a warm skin tone in between the parents. So what I found is that if you have two parents with warm skin tones, the child will also have a warm skin tone in between both of the parents' skin. So this particular combination appears to be working as intended. Let's try a different scenario. Let's try two parents who have a neutral skin tone. We'll give this sim a darker neutral skin tone, and we'll give this sim a lighter neutral skin tone. We'll just work with the first row here. Then let's create a child. Here's the first child that randomized, and she has a warm skin tone. All right, so let's try again. Remember, both parents are neutral. Second child has exactly the same warm skin tone. Let's try again. Same one. Okay, this one looks to be a little bit different of a tone. Now we have a neutral skin tone in the middle of the parents' range. And now we have a neutral skin tone again. And we finally got a darker skin tone here, closer to the mother's skin. And this is also neutral. And here's another darker skin tone, which is neutral. It seems to land on the same exact skin tone a lot, and there's not a ton of variety. But I don't think this combination is broken. I think this is just how the game works, unfortunately. We got another neutral. So when I have two parents with neutral skin tones, I have been able to generate a child with either warm, neutral, or cool. And I think that's by design, and that really, I mean, it makes sense. If both of the parents are neutral, I guess the child could go either way. I would rather the child also always have a neutral skin tone. See, here's a cool now. So I'm not counting this as a flaw necessarily. I think it was intended for two neutral parents to be able to have a warm, neutral, or cool. Let's try another combination. Let's change the parents' skin tone to cool. And here's the father, we'll change him to cool as well. So I have found when I have two parents who have a cool skin tone, the child will always have a warm skin tone. Okay, so this is the big flaw, and there's more to it, so stick with me. But two parents with a cool skin tone should not have a child with a warm skin tone. And it appears as if this combination is definitely broken, and here, let me just show you, it's not just a fluke. Continue doing two Sims with cool skin tone, and they will almost always have a warm skin toned child. Here's another one. Every now and then, we'll get a neutral. which again, to me, does not make sense. They never will have a cool skin tone. I have tried this 100 times with 2 parents with cool skin tones, and not one time have I generated a child with a cool skin tone. It's almost always warm or very rarely neutral. Let's say we keep the mother's skin tone cool, but we change the father's skin tone to warm, and then we create a child. This combination appears to work pretty well. One warm and one cool will give you a child either warm or cool, somewhere in between the range of the parents. Now, because we keep getting this super light skin tone, I am going to change things up and make the father's skin tone a little bit darker. What I'm going to do is give the parents exactly the same skin tone, but one warm and one cool. And then we can see how well the range of skin tones is actually working. So I am going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to give the father 6 on the second row for warm, and I'm going to give the mother 6 on the second row for cool. If the range is working correctly, the child should have no other skin tone but the 6th skin tone on the second row, whether warm or cool, because there's no range in between the parent skin tone for it to land in between. It can only be this skin tone. So here's the first child that it randomized. And we have number 6 on the warm scale. Let's do another. And we have number 6 on the cool scale. Let's try again. Back to the warm, and another. Warm. And we're back to the cool scale. So the actual range of tones appears to be working as intended. Now let's try another combination. Let's give one sim a cool skin tone. Okay, so the mother already has a cool skin tone. And let's give the father a neutral skin tone. And let's create a child now. Here's the first child that generated, and this child has a warm skin tone. So this is another combination that's broken, and I really think this is due to the cool skin tone having genetics that are incorrectly mapped to warm. Just to recap, the mother has cool skin, the father has neutral skin, and the child has warm. The child should have either a neutral or a cool based on the rules from the other combinations, but it doesn't. It has warm. Same thing when we have 2 parents with cool skin tones, we also get a warm skin tone. So something is wrong with the cool skin tones. Genetically, they produce warm skin tones. Here, let's try again. It's not just a fluke. I've tried this over and over and over again and found the same results. Okay, here's the next child. Warm skin. Let's try again. Warm skin. And these have all been exactly the same color. And here's another. Warm skin. We got a darker color this time, but it's still warm. Let's try again. Same color on the warm color scale. It almost feels like the game chooses 1 or 2 shades. So I know I said earlier that the range is working, and technically it is, but it's like the game chooses just 1 or 2 shades in between the parent skin tones and just fixates on those and doesn't give you any more variety. So far, I've generated 5 or 6 children, and we've only gotten 2 different skin tones. Here, we're back to this one. Let's do it again. Surprise, surprise, we're back to this one. So it's only choosing this last skin tone and this second skin tone on the second row in the warm tone for parents who have a neutral and a cool skin tone. I mean, this just obviously is not working. It's just not, it's broken. You can see it so clearly here. The cool skin tones are the most broken. And when you have a parent with a cool skin tone in the equation, things just go wrong. And oh, I finally got another color after just randomizing over and over. We finally got the 3rd on warm. But once again, every single child has been warm skin tone. And here, now it's fixating on this 3rd color. And then we went back to the orange. And then now we're getting this 3rd color over and over and over again. Something is wrong. Something is wrong not only with the variety of tones, but definitely with the genetics of the cool skin tones. Okay, so let's try the final combination that we haven't tried in this video is one parent with warm and one parent with neutral. So we're going to give the mother a warm skin tone, and we're going to give the father a neutral skin tone. And I'm trying to get them as far apart in color as possible so that it makes it more clear to see the problems with the genetics. So let's create a child. Okay, so we've got neutral and warm produce this child, which is cool. So that doesn't seem right, does it? And this is actually the first time this has happened in my experiments before I made this video. I thought that the warm and neutral tones were okay because I wasn't getting cool skin tones from those, but it looks like even that is broken as well. And this is cool again. Okay, and now we have a warm, and now we have a cool, and now we have another cool. So now I'm starting to think it's both the neutral and the cool skin tones that have their genetics incorrectly mapped. Okay, so now we have a warm skin tone, which makes sense. And all I'm getting is warm and cool, warm and cool. I'm getting no neutrals from this combination. So here's an overview of what I found with genetics and what worked and what didn't work. 2 Sims with a neutral skin tone will have children of any skin tone, warm, cool, or neutral. I'm not sure if that's by design or if that's part of the flaw. I could sort of understand it being by design. I would rather 2 neutral Sims have a neutral child, but whatever. 2 Sims with warm skin tone seems to work perfectly. 2 Sims with warm skin tones, for me, always have a warm skin tone child. 2 Sims with cool skin tones is broken. 2 Sims with cool skin tones will have a child that has warm or neutral skin tone. But somehow, if I have 1 Sim with warm skin, 1 Sim with cool skin, the child will be born with either warm or cool, which appears to be working. And what I found is if you have 1 parent with cool or warm and 1 parent with neutral, who knows what you're gonna get. Something feels wrong about this. I really hope this wasn't the intended behavior, only geneticizing the range of color and not the warm, cool, or neutral tone. I hope that this was an oversight that they will fix, because if you have parents with warm skin tones who have a child with cool skin tone, the child can look almost nothing like the parents. It doesn't even feel like genetics matter at all. And just to leave you on that note, I'm creating 2 parents with cool skin tones and creating their child again, and we get this child with warm skin tone who looks nothing like her parents. The range is correct. She does have a skin tone in between the 2 colors of her parents, but the warmth just makes her look like she's not even part of this family. So this is a big problem for me as someone who really likes to play with families and genetics. I have found this very off-putting and very concerning, and I really, really hope that we can bring this to the attention of the Sims team and they can fix this. I feel like this probably isn't a very difficult fix. There's probably just some flags or some kind of code that they can change so that the genetics are mapped properly. I really hope this isn't something that they just leave and don't even care about and never fix, like what happened with the eye colors that were patched into the game back in like patch 5 and are still broken. And if you don't know what I'm talking about there, go watch my genetics comparison video where I talk about that some more. My overall opinion of this update is that I really do like the added variety of skin tones, especially the light and dark sliders. I love the makeup sliders, but I am very disappointed in what happened to the genetics. And now I want to hear from you. Have you had a chance to go in and play around with the new update? Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Are you seeing the same thing in your game with these broken genetics? And how do you feel about that? I know I've seen some people say that they don't even care about the genetics because they just change the appearance of their Sims anyway. Are you one of those kind of players, or are you like me and this really bothers you? And if this does really bother you, make sure you share this video, tag the Sims on Twitter, and let them know that you want the genetics fixed. My name is Cindy, and I will see you with a new video very soon. Thank you so much for watching.